All praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai Bishim Kokodash, and giving double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who peace and salutation to the elect, starting with the 144,000 prophets, 12,000 choice men of each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Their true biblical nationality is the Israelites, with 12 different tribes. And you have, of course, the Israelite foreigners likened to the speckled bird that are variegated, coming in different appearances, but lineage going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the spirit that bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. And Shemiah Mappan is a Mappa for the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp located here in the city of Philadelphia, coming with another week lesson. Double honors again to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. You have this off of Neil McCoy-Ward. Fair use warning. I don't at all own this footage. I'm only using this for educational purposes and on my video to inform those that do seek to know. So you have it here, a new UK law, prison for posting misinformation. We'll play the video and go from there.
Panel today, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to pick up again on a topic I talked about a while ago, which has now passed. This is somewhat worrying, I think, to many of us on the channel here, many of you as subscribers. It's also positive in some ways as well. I'll get on to the positives, but I'll also cover the negatives. And of course, what we're talking about is these new hate speech bills or hate speech laws that are being passed. But it's not just really about hate speech. There's a lot of other things in this bill. And we're going to focus predominantly today on the UK bill because that is the most advanced one. It's the furthest ahead. It's passed. The EU has a bill as well. The US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. A lot of other countries are working through their bills or they're just about to pass them.
So this is something that's universal, dealing with hate speech, okay, primarily, which as a prophet, they consider us to be hate group, right? A hate group being Great Millstone. And they say we speak hate speech, but we are a truth group, and some things obviously a part of the truth people do dislike or hate. Now the scriptures say, this is the book of Amos chapter 5 and 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. And so it actually is a shana, which is the Hebrew word for hate. Okay, we are an enemy, okay, with the world, because we come with yakach, which you have this for rebuke, but we judge, okay, and we argue, and to show to be right. Right? We show the truth. We show the scriptures. We show the prophecies. And many people abhor that, okay? Which shun pretty much. Okay? They loathe and they regard it as an abomination. And it's something they don't want to see. Why are you coming with the scriptures to condemn me? You know, many people would go about saying, and we speak uprightly the words of the Lord, okay? Which, as we know, you go to the book of Psalms, I believe it might be like the 10th chapter. Our 12th chapter, it says the words in verse 6. It says, the words of the Lord are pure words. So, hey, and that's what we speak, the words of the Lord. They're pure words, which go back to Hawar, being clean, okay? Ethically, morally clean, ceremonially, okay? They're clean. As silver tried in the furnace of the earth purifies 7 times. So we know this truth is without any impurities. It's not mixed with and mingled with anything. That's why we don't add or take away from the book. We give it to you straight, raw, and uncut and unfiltered, and that's why a lot of people don't like us. Now, going back, as I said, it's a globalization of different bills proposed to be passed concerning hate speech. And most of our information that we do post is online, and you have various groups, entities upon these platforms that do regulate and self-govern what is misinformation and what is information. But that is by the discretion of the reviewer. And you have, of course, me, that I would question the integrity of the actual reviewing process, because there was a time in which I had a video which was deemed as and flagged as it said I was inciting some type of hate groups or something like that, and I appealed the case. It was reviewed, and they actually overturned their ruling for it being a violation to their community guidelines on YouTube. But then on my other page, which had the same exact video, they did not overturn the verdict. So it's the same video, and I submitted the same exact information in my defense, and it was denied. Why, would you say? Well, this page has a bigger following with over 1,000 viewership officially under YouTube, about 1,200, I think. And my other page only have about maybe in the 300s, under 400 subscribers. And this information is being spread to all over the world, okay? Our line, as it says, is going into the ends of the world, okay? And people are hearing the voice of the Lord and what he has to say. We cover all various subjects, giving the information and the understanding of it biblically. And yeah, you have it that they see it as hate speech.
But the UK has passed their bill, and they've started to prosecute people under this new bill. Now, as I've always said, they do this as a way to incite fear into the populace.
Right. So, of course, this would be posted. If you speak this, hey, we can enforce this law, and we can give you various criminal punishments for it. But us as prophets, we know that it says in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7, for the Most High hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. And it says, be not therefore, ashamed of the testimony of our Lord. And this truth is nothing but, the witness of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, so we're not ashamed. That's why we put up the videos. Okay, you have it that some people would deem us as, various different uh, stigmas. A lot of false allegations, false claims is given us for just teaching the Bible, and we still preach it and don't um, waver from it. Okay, nor of me, his prisoner. So don't be ashamed of course, the various prophets that have the testimony as well. Okay, Timothy being one. Okay, but be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of the Most High. So yeah, we have to be partaker. Okay, who hath saved us and called us with an holy calling. This is a separate calling, not according to our works. This wasn't of our own, but according to his own purpose and grace, knowledge, the grace which was given us in Hamashiach Yahushua before the world began. Okay? Amazing. Now, continuing forth.
So you see a case of someone who says something which you say, what? That's misinformation? And you think to yourself, well, I believe the same thing. Well, I better not post that on my Instagram or my what used to be Facebook or things like that. And that's what we're starting to see. If we have time in the video, I can give you a couple of examples of this. But what has now passed is this new law all around misinformation. And the fines for this are pretty hefty, not in terms of money, but in terms of time served, i.e. a prison sentence. So you can now go to prison in the UK for spreading what is classed as misinformation. And the problem I have with this bill is that misinformation is not clear. And it's not clear in a number of regards. So misinformation is whoever they are, it's the government, it's the law, whatever they deem to be misinformation at the time. And for the Americans watching, I want to show you what is about to be proposed as well for the USA. In fact, I'll show you very quickly now so we can go back into all of this, because I think the Americans watching are going to be shocked by what is coming to the US. So we'll jump straight to that. This was a CNN article that I read a couple of weeks back now, and it said, what is new denial? An alarming wave of climate misinformation is spreading on YouTube. Now, at first I saw the story, as I do, and I just added it to my watch list just to see if anything else came of it. Then a Patreon member in the private community sent me a video on the new climate denial. So of course I had to download the report and read this. And if you go down to page 33, I believe it is, in fact I want to just show you a couple of examples here. So for those of you in the US, this is what they are classing. So they took people like Jordan Peterson, for example, who got 1 million views on this, and they say that YouTube needs to stop his monetization. So they're saying he needs to be demonetized for interviewing someone that disagreed with the claims around climate change. Who else? This was another one, redacted, a big...
They don't like influence. A lot of times, or a lot during these ages, is wokeism, or people that deem themselves as enlightened. Conspiracy theorists, they would claim. A lot of people are not taking the status quo, all right, curriculum-based information that they were taught by schools. And a lot of people are thinking outside of the box and looking up things on their own, for their own self, finding out that there's truth out there that is, actually science. And then you have it that even if it is, despite the fact it is science, and it could be true, they don't want that to be expressed and told to the mass populace to influence them, okay? Because there's a narrative they want to push in the agenda, okay? When they pay you through monetization, they want you to speak and influence people in the fashion in which they want. Okay? The image of lies and deception. Okay? Simple as that.
Channel, Clayton, Morris. Again, this title, this is how they'll control us, new lockdowns and that, etc. They use this as an example as well and said that redacted need to be demonetized, and they were launching this big campaign to stop it. And they use all these different examples. So let's look at page this is page 32, but let me just
Which that show Redacted. Um, redacted. It's a YouTube page. Natalie and Clayton Morton, uh, which they say is concerned the effort to save truth and preserve information and fight propaganda. That's a big term, propaganda. Information, especially biased, misleading in nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Okay, and they have a particular view which they want the others to believe in, and you can't question it. You being a citizen. Redacted is one of those pages that go against the narratives. A lot of good information is on there, in my opinion. That obviously goes with what prophecy speaks. But you have a great censorship on these different outlets.
just show you page 33 here, because these are the proposals. Digital platforms must demonetize climate denial content. And of course, this is climate denial as they perceive it to be. Because remember, you cannot argue with their science, regardless that there are a lot of scientists on the other side who have different viewpoints on what is going on right now, bringing in all sorts of things around the sun, historical weather patterns, ice cores, and there's all sorts of stuff that I've read up on. So this is what they're talking about then. They're talking about how all of these channels need to be demonetized. And there's also an example in one of these documents around Russell Brand and how that was a perfect example of how to remove the funding from some of these people by cutting out their revenue. And it's talking about how you hit them hard by affecting their income, because they gave all these examples and staffing and teams of content creators. And if you hit their income, then they won't be able to produce as high a quality of content. The content will go down, you'll have less viewers, etc., etc. So they've got all these very strange models and explanations of all the things that they're proposing. So I saw this a couple of weeks ago. It looks like it is being pushed through quite hard. So if you're in the US thinking, thank goodness we haven't got this, but this is interesting to watch what's happening in the UK, well, no, this is going to be coming to the US as well. Now let me go straight over then to the bill. So we can see this is not some sort of fake website or anything like that. Here it is here, www.gov.uk. So this is the UK government website. And here it is, fake news to put online abusers behind bars from today. So I won't go into this whole thing because there's a lot here, but this does link to the Criminal Justice Bill of 2023. If you want to start reading through all of this, if you want more reference around what is actually going on here, you can read all of these documents. But here's the biggest problem that I've got with the bill. I'll talk about the positives of the bill and how it protects children, which is a great thing. I also want to tell you the nefarious things that they've put in this bill, which is how I know there's a lot more behind this than meets the eye. UK's Online Safety Act officially grants MSM, which is the mainstream media, permission to publish lies. You might say, what does that mean, Neil? Well, welcome to the UK, where it's now official government policy that you can't publish misinformation, but The Guardian, the BBC, Disney, and Netflix can. Yes, it's true, and I'll show you the clauses.
That's bias. Okay? It's bias. Meaning prejudice in favor of or against one thing, person, or group compared with another, usually in a way considered to be unfair. Right? And they certify whom they wish. And these organizations, which are bought and paid for, is whom they certify. You, unless you are part of their um, body compliant to their rules, you're not. So they say hit them where their pockets lie, because a lot of times these people have got viewership, and viewership converts to influence, and which influence equals dollars because you can sell stuff. Now YouTube, is demonetizing a lot of these platform owners, making it then, you know, if these people don't have integrity, they'll change up their whole thing in favor of keeping and maintaining the money that they get from these different uh, sites, because they are employees. You have to begin in that you work for YouTube. Okay.
As we go into the law on this as well, the recently signed online safety bill brands the publication of false information a criminal offence punishable by up to a year in prison. This is absolutely true, by the way. Unless you're an MSM outlet, then it's totally fine. So let's look at the sections then in this bill. This is section 179, part 10, communication offences. A person commits an offence if the person sends a message, see section 182, the message conveys information that the person knows to be false. Again, they have to prove this in a court of law, but they would use their own evidence to prove your evidence as false, although it doesn't really make much sense. At the time of sending it, the person intended the message or the information in it to cause non-trivial psychological or physical harm to a likely audience, and the person has no reasonable excuse for sending the message. Now, if you remember during COVID and the lockdowns, I said we would start seeing a lot of these bills coming through later on, purely because a lot of people disagreed with the mainstream media narrative. I was one of those people. You remember a lot of my videos got flagged, a lot of them got taken down, even though now what I said back then has been proven to be correct.
Yeah, and we have had our videos taken down. I still have videos pertaining to the 2020 event, and they are true. They were prophesied, said before, and they came to pass. And obviously, too, we brought out information that we found out on our own that was not posted in the mainstream media, but was posted in alternative media and on obviously different studies conducted by different people that are actually accredited professionals in that field, in them fields, prospective fields, and they still took the videos down. Okay, they stayed up, but then now they're taking them down. Okay, but though in fact it is true. So what is that? That's unfair. Okay. So as they say, fake news is allowed for some. Okay. So you can check all this out on your own. I'm going to you got this guy, he said it's okay to be so-called white, but he's being convicted of being rejecting and reject white guilt. But hey, it's gonna come a time when being saying you're a Israelite, that's considered hate speech. Okay, but we know the appropriate scriptures pertaining to this. There's definitely going to be a famine of the word. Is going to be a great persecution upon the Israelites, particularly the prophets. Read Amos 8 and 10. Behold, 11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst of water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Why? Because of these different laws. Okay? You'll have brothers out there in the street. Hey, the live streams and all that, that's going to get cut. Okay? We get live streams cut. There's going to come a time where we can't go out there and speak and preach. Because, hey, we'll be taken off and put into handcuffs because it's a hate speech. Okay? And it's going to become criminal for what you speak, right? And, hey, they already have the bills being proposed. And, hey, they definitely will be passing them. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. Okay, why? Because we are being removed and persecuted. And, hey, there's things got to change up with the ministry. We're at the end here, so, we see, obviously, the devil coming with great wrath, knowing but he had but a short time. So I'm thankful, This is Amos 8:7. The Lord has sworn by the excellency of Jacob, surely I will not forget any of their works. Okay, we know that the Lord is going to make due for what we did towards his name, for dropping and sacrificing for this truth. I've sacrificed, like you say, relationship, different pursuits, things I loved and wanted to do professionally. I've dropped it to follow the truth. And the Lord, he's not going to forget it. All right? And he's going to give a recompense for it, as we do know. So I'm going to give this other scripture, and that'll be it. You can watch and look at the video for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description box of that video done by Neil McCoy-Ward. Okay? This is the book of Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 4. It reads, Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 5. It says, a faithful witness will not lie, and we are witnesses of your Lord. When we put out the truth, we're giving you a testimony of the Lord. Okay, witness go to Eid. Okay, and Eid is a evidence of things. Re-recorders. Okay, we had the witness of prophecy. Okay, which we have Yahushua. He spoke these words and they're happening. We herald it. It says a faithful witness will not lie, which a lying goes into should be Shaquar, but Shaquar. Or Kazab, which goes into falsehood. All right, to be a liar, prove be lying. Okay? Because we're faithful. Amawan, which just means trusting, trustworthiness, established. And we got the establishment from the Lord that gave us the higher calling. It says, but a false witness will utter lies. And we know Esau is of a false witness. And you see, with his various news outlets, he uttering these different lies, or kazabium. Okay? You're not supposed to look beyond the surface. Just trust everything that they speak and don't look it up for yourself. So, that's it. Shalom to you, elect. All praise to Yahweh Shem HaShai V'Shem Kodesh.